presentation will be able to give us our view from the US perspective in terms of startup, scale-up. The last question that was answered by Bridget here, but I mean, I've got a question in terms of, I hear the policy of the government one day forward, but I think there are one or two elements that are missing. And hopefully in the presentation I'll show you what elements I'm talking about, and I think are missing here. I'm not an expert in it yet, I'm not playing with it.
But you're an expert in entrepreneurship.
No, but I can show you examples of where we have helped countries in the world come out of the unemployment, the poverty that was happening.
Right, great.
Starting in the region and going out into the country. So first of all, thank you very much for all being here. Thank you for inviting us. The reason why I'm here, Tom, is here is because in March of this year we had the visit of Mr. Sheikh from school over here. We had Trust India Foundation as well. And I had only met them briefly for 100 days. And I think at that time when they met me, they said, oh, this guy is not going to be doing anything, because I was saying things which they were not agreeing with. But I was not saying it in the sense of that I don't want to help them, but I was telling them things about how it should work. So yesterday I was at Trust India Foundation in Mumbai. We had a, I think, 3.5 hour meeting, and I had to leave without having dinner because I had something else at the hotel going on afterwards. So that's the reason why we're here, and we're visiting the store to basically see areas of collaboration and so on. So Babson College. Babson College was founded in 1990, which means that in about 2.5 years' time we will be celebrating our 100th anniversary. The campus is situated in Wellesley, Massachusetts. That's where we are. Many people think we're in Boston. We're not in downtown Boston. We are in the suburbs of Boston. We've got about 3,000 students from about 70 plus countries in degree programs at Babson, both undergrad and postgrad. One thing that we do at Babson, we only do entrepreneurship. We don't do anything else. We don't do engineering, we don't do it. So if you think about it, 1919, the founder of the college had the vision of only doing entrepreneurship. Right. So he wanted to do entrepreneurship for his family, for his sons and everything, but that stayed in place. I should also say that 35% of Babson students are from India. So there's a big Indian population at Babson University. The ranking, we didn't do that. We're not putting our own here. This is ranking that independent
so let us congratulate them for number one. Thank you.
We've been ranked number one in entrepreneurship for 20 consecutive years in the US. We've got award-winning innovative entrepreneurship curriculum. If you one day have the chance of doing an executive education program, you will see that at Babson it's not a one-way traffic. Everybody has to engage. If you come to a workshop, I guarantee you will be tired of that time. It's not just sitting down. We're doing it in a two-way, breakout groups, case study, presentation. What we want to do is to get people out of their comfort zone. So typically in a room, maybe those three ladies over there are friends. So what we will do is change people around. So that people do not sit together where they're comfortable. We want to bring people out of their comfortable zone, because as an entrepreneur, when you go out in the real world, you are in an uncomfortable zone. At least for what I've seen. Always. We are the leader in teaching others how to teach entrepreneurship. This is a program that we call Vice Babson Symposium for Entrepreneurship Educators. We teach secondary school teachers, university lecturers, professors, people from Yale, from all Ivy League, they come to us to learn how to teach entrepreneurship. They are surprised by when we teach entrepreneurship, and they take it and go and replicate it. So one thing I would say for the whole faculty over here, especially in entrepreneurship, if you have the chance, send one of the faculty there. That investment that will make over 3-4 days will pay extra dividends. Yeah? The next program that will be happening in January. And that program gets filled very, very quickly. There's only 16 places. We always have a waiting list of 25 people. So it's first come, first served. That's what we'll do. The way we differentiate ourselves to other organizations around the world in entrepreneurship is with this unique pedagogy, entrepreneurial organization, in our program activities. One thing that we believe in, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about entrepreneurship of all kinds. Corporations, private sector, public sector, charities, foundations, NGOs. We cover everything. Any questions, Anna?
I have one question. What is the one element which made you a number one since 20 years consecutively? What is one that best element you think?
Early entrant.
Well, I think I don't know the exact, surveys are surveys. I don't know the exact methodology used. But one thing I would say is that, for example, our students who come to do their undergrad degree in entrepreneurship, school will be given $3,000. They have to open a business. Compulsory. There's no getting out of it. And as Tom was saying, if somebody fails, we don't say that they are a failure. We welcome them. Because out of 10 startups, maybe only 2 will succeed. 7 to 8, depending on which part of the world you are, will not succeed. So there are many elements like this that we have, that when people are rating. Because why did I teach you to do something when I don't show you how to do it? All the programs that most of the programs in executive education, I've gone through it myself. I'm saying we need to bring the full-aid itself. We are not just telling you what to do, we don't do it. We all do it. So there are many criteria like this. The other thing would be our graduates, how soon do they find employment? Our graduates, what kind of money they get? So in the US they measure, what sort of salary and so on. So all that comes into that. So the school was, so Babson, when we said Babson College, this school was basically started by Roger Babson. Incidentally, Roger Babson, he also ran for president of the United States, but he didn't win the country. So that's one thing to know. Do you know who the president was? I think it was Roosevelt he went against, so so he was an MIT graduate. He launched the first company in 1904. It used to be called the Babson Statistical Organization. He was giving investment advice, and he predicted 1939 market crash. So I think Roger Babson had a very good vision, not just in stock market, but also in entrepreneurship, as we're seeing today. So Babson Institute was founded in 1919. First of the 3 colleges founded by Roger Babson. He also was a very good philanthropist. The good that is in you is the good that you do for others. So while I was saying to you, we don't just do entrepreneurship for profit for organization. I've launched social entrepreneurship programs in the Middle East and so on. That's a big passion for me. Because in social entrepreneurship, you do good first, and then you have profit. So that's one thing we need to do. So that's the past. Let's look at how it looks now.
Good.
So Babson College is headed by, so we've got here you've got the Vice Chancellor or Chancellor of the university. There we've got President. And the President of the school is Dr. Kerry Hill. The school is divided into 3 main parts. We've got undergrad, postgrad, and executive education. I work in the executive education space. So in the undergrad section, 54% of the student population are women. 25% are international students. More than 50 countries represented. India is always there. 100% of students need to start a real business in your one. I just mentioned that. Because whatever they are taught, they need to put into practice. And they've got the best surrounding by all the professors and so on.
Can you give the cross-section of the students enrolled other than US from various countries? You have any
so you've got
cross-section of
you've got India, you've got Middle East, you've got Africa, Canada. From
major is from which continent?
with,
Major students they are from.
well, if we don't put a cap on India, India is always the top.
That's like India's number one, China number two, then we've got a whole bunch from Latin America.
But we have to put a cap
Right.
because we want it to be a good mix.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, if you're doing business, you want to know how other countries are doing to form partnership and so on. So India would be number one if we let it go.
And another thing, how many are from technical background and how many students are from managerial background? Is that any? No.
They apply. Out of all applications, I think we only take like 25-26%. Application rate is that high. We only take. So, it's an all-round picture. We need to look at what they've done, their passion for entrepreneurship and so on. So, entrepreneurship of all kinds, remember? Of all kinds. So it's not just one particular study.
Plus the undergrad school, they don't have a background for it, right?
I'm talking about the graduate.
Oh, sorry, the graduate. Okay, you already knew. So, what are we saying? I was educated the British way. The British way, by the time you are doing A-level, you know what you're going to do. So in England, when you do your degree, you want to become a doctor, you go through your 5 years medicine. In the US, it's not like this. In the US, you can come and do a degree in photography or design, and then you say, I want to become a doctor. Then you go and study for the doctor. This is the different structure of European versus American. So the graduate schools, we've got MBA and Masters of Science. So the MBA is done with a variety of ways. 1 year MBA, 2 year MBA, evening MBA, blended learning MBA. And then for Masters, we've got entrepreneurial leadership, finance, and accounting. Within the graduate schools, 5% there are international students. So where I work is within the executive education department. So my boss, the dean, Ian Nazarene, heads the school of the executive education side of things. So we've got open enrollment programs, custom programs, blended learning programs, and e-learning. So open enrollment will be programs that we've got running like a bootcamp, teaching faculties how to teach. We've got many such courses. One is guiding economic growth, which the question that was asked just now, looking at policy making for countries and regions. Custom programs will be, we work for corporations, major corporations, be it in the States or elsewhere. They can come to us and they say they have a problem. Two companies have merged together, they've got an issue with leadership, they've got an issue with strategy. So we can customize programs just for them. Blended learning, as you can see, is a mixture of both online and face-to-face, and then e-learning. This is starting to take more and more shape now because a lot of foreign countries, sometimes they can't send all their students over. So we've done programs in the Middle East for 8 weeks. Currently in India, I'm running a program called Business Analytics for Managers in India. It's a 13-week program. This week is week 5. This week is a blended learning. So that's why we're going to Delhi from here. On Saturday, Professor Abdullahi, who was a Greek, he's going to teach face-to-face. But all the other professors, there are 8 or 9 professors, they recorded their sessions, and it's been to the students here. So, on top of these are the main 3 parts of the school. There are what we call centers of excellence and institutes as well. So you've got the Blank Center for Entrepreneurship, Center for Entrepreneurial Women Leadership, an entity called Babson Global. I should also put the Babson Collaborative in there, where Tom normally is. Now within all these centers, they do specific work, research work. So Center for Women Entrepreneurial Leadership, they focus on women around the world. So tomorrow I could get a client who says, look, I want a program on Google leadership, and Google tap into the answer. I mean, there's more to it, but in the interest of time, I'll move on because there's more to it. So again, in terms of institute, in terms of Lewis Institute, they basically do high school programs. So a few weeks ago, I launched a program in Kuwait, social entrepreneurship program. So basically, there are 90 students from the age of 13 to 16, how young they are. And the mandate there is for them to come up with a social entrepreneurship plan that they will go and put back in society. So the winner of that will be coming to the Lewis Institute next year as a prize to follow I think it's a 1 week or 2 weeks program. So there's all sorts of things that can be done. Any questions? So just to recap very quickly, for the 2014-2015 academic year, just to give some perspective, 2,100 undergrad students, 900 graduate students representing 80 countries. We have 22,000 plus executive offerings, 247 faculty, 160 teach full-time, 160 full-time faculty dedicated to entrepreneurship. And then we've also got adjunct faculty. Adjunct faculty, as you know, these are people who have a foot in real life, working in real life, but they also come and teach. So if you do the bootcamp, what we call the Babson bootcamp program, this is taught by an adjunct faculty. He's a venture capitalist in real life, so he also comes and teaches them. So again, when he teaches them, he prepares the students to be able not only to have their plan, but then when they're going to go out to raise capital for their venture, they will be able to talk, because in the US we've done something called Shark Tank. You've seen the program, Shark Tank? You've seen it. So what happens in Shark Tank? You get 3-4 people with money who come in front of them, and they basically tear you down. They make you cry. Because they're not going to put money into your company if they cannot see the return on investment. So what the faculty does here, all the students at the end of the program will have to come and present their plan. And we want to prepare them so that when they go out in real life, they're ready to face whatever comes to be. So also we are accredited by most major organizations in terms of teaching and so on. So all that accreditations are there. So in terms of alumni, 32,000 alumni worldwide, and about 20 domestic and international alumni clubs. I think in India there are about, I think last count they said about, I think it's more than 700 alumni. It all depends when you start the counting. We've got a good spread. In fact, now in the lab there's one who met today who did her masters, and she's working on a very interesting program. What she learned from Babson, and she's trying to put into practice here. So again, very quickly, number one for entrepreneurship by US News and World Report, best entrepreneurship program by Entrepreneur Magazine and Princeton Review, best business school in terms of return on investment on a base scale. That means when students finish, what kind of job are they getting and what kind of return are they getting as well. So very quickly, entrepreneurship of Babson, 100% of our students take entrepreneurship courses because that's all we do. We do finance, we do marketing, but it's called entrepreneurial finance, entrepreneurial marketing. The finance we teach, even banks come to us to learn how to value the valuation of
Yes, some of the financing institutions are going to do this, right?
Because most banks, when they do valuation of companies, there are strict rules. You do not take the same rules as apply to an entrepreneur. If an entrepreneur doesn't have any historic data, they've got a protection. So of course they will pay. So these banks come to us and we teach them how to do valuation of entrepreneurs. This is a very important thing. When we look at marketing, when we look at any subject, we look at it from the lens of the entrepreneur.
Okay.
This is an important part. 35% come from family businesses. There is a program that we do for family business. And we did a program last year when we called mother, father, and their own daughter and son. Just to bring together, because we found that in research, after the third generation, the business goes away. Why does it go away? It's so difficult to keep the business together. So, Sir Richard Branson, they were as a special guest. When we had a few family, mother, father, and son, and so on, came to this program. So this is the program family business, which I know in India is a big need, because a lot of business in India also is going from generation to generation. We should not lose this. Unfortunately, by the third generation, second generation, we say goodbye. 45% of our outline worldwide in our business. Okay, we've got 120 courses in entrepreneurship. 100% of entrepreneurship faculty have entrepreneurial experience. So how can you teach something if you haven't done it yourself? That's what we're going to do. So we've got over 400 businesses that go through our venture accelerator. And we lead this global entrepreneurship monitor study in 7 countries worldwide. India takes part in it, and Dr. Suresh Shukla represents India. So now I'm going to talk about more where we
I think that will be interesting to me.
Okay. So we see ourselves, our department, as a dynamic learning laboratory, where we look at leadership development and we develop and train entrepreneurs of all kinds. We train entrepreneur leaders of all kinds. That's what we do at our laboratories. That's what we look at ourselves as. So again, I won't go to this. I will talk about the open enrollment learning and so on. I had a video over here, but we don't have internet connectivity. But you can find this on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you'll see it, and that gives. I don't know whether you can see, but in the background of the picture, this is the executive center. It's like a 4-star, 5-star hotel. I wouldn't say 1-star, it's 4-star. But it's not 24 hours a day. So people check in, check out, and we've got a lot. How much classrooms? So we've got quite a lot of nicely designed classrooms, breakout rooms, and so on. All our classes will take maximum 60 students at any one time. And again, our clients are corporations, entrepreneurs, foundations, educational institutions, non-profits and NGOs, and so on. So when we customize, let's say your company comes to us tomorrow, we follow a process, yeah? And this is the advancement process. We always do a needs assessment. Faculty will do a program design, program development, and then we'll deliver. And all that is done in collaboration with the client.
What is the post-program follow-up?
So, good question. So let's say you company have done started the leadership program, let's say 3-4 year program. The program is finished. Technically speaking, our contract is finished, but we do a post follow-up. It is due after whatever we've learned in class, have we been able to implement what sort of results are needed. So in December, we'll be running a great example, an innovation program. I think it's going to be for CEOs. So that program will be in 4 parts. We will do a webinar at first for 1 hour. When faculty will talk to all the participants, we'll do a 2-3 day workshop. Then a follow-up after 3 months after the end of the program. All the participants will have the chance to talk to the faculty on a one-to-one basis to see whatever they've learned. Have they been able to do it? Or maybe different companies might have faculty to come to us and let's do a program itself. And the 4th component will be the survey, where companies will be able to enter their data, and from that data we will give them a report to show them where they stand in relation to their needs. That's the follow-up program assistant. And and sometimes once in stage 5, we can also have another issue around. So we could have a new program, or we could probably just fix a few things that probably was not needed. Typically, I would say 98 of programs are run in 1 or 2 front-end.
Customization for how many hours? For how many hours? Customized program.
So you're asking me now in hours post?
The duration of the program.
Duration. It depends though. If let's say I had a client in India and I had a client in Boston for the same program, typically the Boston people will come on campus. We will be able to do a 4 or 5 day program. I will be able to bring more than 2, 3, 4 days.
Right.
If I'm coming to India, you will have to pay by the day faculty delivers. I will probably just send one faculty at the most, and I will reduce the program to probably 2 days, 2.5 days, to keep the economics of the measures. So what we will do, a big portion of it, we will do pre-reading to our Blackboard site, where you can go and answer questions and so on, but the delivery will be 2 days. So to answer your question, typically it's not more than 5 days. Unless we're doing an ecosystem program, depending upon what we choose, could be 4 or 5 years long, or it could be 10 to 15 years long. So that's a different thing. So this is looking at our collaboration principle. Again, these are all standard things that we tell to our clients. It's when we are doing something for you, it's looking at you only. We are looking, because we've done the needs assessment, we know what to do. And basically, it's just answers to know your people. And all the rest is all the same. So these pictures are actually real pictures of Babson different programs. This is not stock pictures. This gentleman in the red, Professor J.R., is the one coming in December to do the innovation. Blended learning, again, depending upon the kind of program that we're doing, like the one we're doing in India just now on business analytics is a blended learning program. Programs for corporations, this is an example. Santander, those who are the banking sector in other countries. Santander. This is a big bank in Latin America. So we've done a lot of work for them, and they are also currently involved with us. With a Kenyan woman.
Yeah. I wasn't totally involved, but at the same time, they funded a project whereby we were doing social investments, and they invited a group of women from I think I'll start that over again, but Santander is, again, one of our clients, and also we work with them in different ways. They funded a project lately that we ran where they're doing investing around the world. They funded 20 or so women from Kenya to come out to Babson and just learn about the way that we do entrepreneurship, etc. And it was the first time we've ever run a program like that, which was really quite interesting and fantastic results out of this thing. So hopefully we do a lot more of that as we go forward.
So that's an example of cooperation. This is an example of a foundation. This was a mini ecosystem. I wouldn't say mini, it was an ecosystem project. So you've all heard about Scotland, right? So Scotland has got very good universities. Edinburgh University, Glasgow University, Stirling, St Andrews, Dundee, Aberdeen, and so on. I went to school in Scotland, so that's why I'm very good at it. But what was happening in Scotland is that all these graduates that were coming out, there was like a brain drain. They were leaving, they were going elsewhere. So the Scottish government or Scottish enterprise came to us, basically saying, what do we do to inculcate the mindset change to get people to go back? So for 6 years in a row, they sent on about, I think, 40 potential leaders for, I think it's a 6 months program or something like that. So this is the scale to where we can do progress. Babson Build for Student Entrepreneurs. This is a wonderful occasion for the students of the bank, undergraduates or postgraduates. In the summer, we run a 1 to 3 week long program where we get students from about, it's like a mini United Nations there. It's like 20 plus countries are coming either for 1 week to 3 weeks, both undergrad and postgrad students.
1 week to 3 weeks.
Yeah, we choose one you want. Because in the summer, the campus is free. All our students are going away, the halls are free. So these students from all around the world, they come in and they go through the Babson Build program. And this is under executive education. This program is actually running this now. A bootcamp, I just spoke to you about a bootcamp, I don't need to go about that. This is the program training educators. This lady in the middle, she is the professor that leads that particular program. As you can see, in the past 32 years, we've trained 3,700 educators from nearly 1,000 academic institutions worldwide. If people are serious about teaching entrepreneurship the Babson way, this is the program we need to go to. To answer your question, when we're talking about ecosystem, this is basically, we've got all the different programs, the Rolls-Royce of programs in entrepreneurship. This is basically where we look at bringing these different components to make this entrepreneurial ecosystem. When I was listening to you, you were saying that they started putting this and that, but I think to create an ecosystem, let's say the kids from the young future leaders from here, should not say kids, they leave your institution, they graduated into entrepreneurship. In this school here, they've got an idea of entrepreneurship. Once they leave the school, they want to do that into practice. Where do they go? From them, now, the bank is different, I understand, right. More entrepreneurial, but let's say other parts of India. And they go to a bank, our banking community there. If they were to come to you and ask for a loan to start a business, would you give them a loan? Or would you know how to do the valuation for them? No. So when you create this ecosystem, you bring public sector, private sector, universities, banks, and so on. You create the ecosystem so that these entrepreneurs can basically raise capital, they can go to innovation somewhere, they can grow their idea. And these programs we've done in Latin America, while I was saying we did it in Colombia for a small region and for one country. In the US, we are doing it for Milwaukee. There's a place in the US state called Milwaukee. So this is, again, I can't play this. This is the president of Colombia, and this is recent. So if you go to YouTube, play that video. It's in Spanish, but it's got English subtitle. He talks about Babson, what we came to do for his country. And if you have the chance, please listen to this. And this is like an ecosystem program we did, 4 or 5 year long. Because governments go and come. That's the danger. Because once the government goes, the government takes everything. We need to create an ecosystem that is self-sustaining, no matter what government comes and goes. Those entrepreneurs, those banks, and everything can just go on. So you've heard of Michael Porter, no? At least the faculty
yes,
will have heard of
Michael.
So Michael Porter, look what he said about what we've done for the ecosystem. So for those who can't read at the back, it says in Colombia, Manizales, best known for its coffee and its school, they've got 3 universities there, has registered higher levels of social progress than the capital of the world. So as compared to the capital, that small village has got higher returns. Even though the average income of Bogota is 1.3 times higher. Manizales, including social progress, is highly correlated with increasing income, decreasing inequality, and decreasing poverty. Just as we find in comparing countries, this report shows that economic growth alone is an incomplete measure of success, and that the social progress index is a powerful measure of whether growth will be inclusive. That's what he said. I didn't say. And again, the professor who leads the ecosystem works with us, He also teaches at Harvard, Columbia, and Stanford, but he's firmly anchored on Babson. I'm trying to get him to come to India, but he's booked
No problem.
right in advance. So, so this is just some factors about success today, what we've done. That's the Milwaukee, I was telling you, in the United States, there's some return on the program we've done. So that's the executive center.
Confidence.
It's basically a copy setting, normally when you apply for a program, they are good and everything is included. That's me. Any questions?
Right. That's very good. Wonderful.